Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Tarot03.com. Today's Monday. It's July 6th, 2026, and it's 9:17 a.m. December time here in the Ozarks. And I'm officially on Nikki's regimen, taking tinctures and starting in my lower digestive tract and working our way up. And teas, herbs, and what she said's true is that I'm going to feel worse before I feel better. My body's releasing toxins, and I'm definitely not feeling well. So please be patient with me. She says it's going to be a month to 3 months. I showed up over there to her house, and I was wanting her to rescan my eyes, thinking that, I've been on the watermelon diet. I've been sure there's going to be some improvement. She just looked at me and kind of laughed. What you're doing takes a while. It took a long time for you to get here, and it's going to take a while for you to. And I was more encouraged at our previous meeting when she said it was going to be a month to 3 months before I was going to start doing better. But then she said it's going to be a year before my body finds equilibrium. But this is the worst part right now. I could go in there and lay down right now. And for the last few days, I've been taking a couple of naps a day. I just can't stay awake. But that's normal. So please be patient with me moving through this period. I'm sorry I can't use everything you guys sent in. I finally was trying to put together a more comprehensive report today, and I just couldn't do it. I have to go with what I got here. Let's see. Yeah, at the last second, I realized the emails I answered this morning did not make it in here. Question and answers. God's custodians. Mark wrote in. Somehow the Substack I got directed to a chat with a person called Wise Wolf. That cross-posted a few of those. Brought up underground watchers, for a better term. I believe you call them God's custodians. Admiral Byrd's diary was there. Comment stating that the watchers are satanic, full of deceit. Are they God's custodians? They're for good or deceit? No, I don't mind. I don't mind you asking at all. I was made aware of the custodian races in my teens as a construction worker. This old time mason. I used to carry my Bible everywhere that I went. I'd be reading it at break and at lunch. He came over and sat down beside me one day and asked me if I wanted to know some things. I said sure, and he started explaining to me about 6-day people and 7-day people from Scripture and reptilian amphibious races. We had a series of conversations over the next month or so. And so far, I have not been able to disprove anything that he said to me. In fact, the more research that I do, the more it's confirmed what he's saying. Now, it's not surprising that there's, just like with these wars, with Putin and Zelensky and Russia against Ukraine and Iran and the United States, there's a disinformation, there's a propaganda war out there too. Same thing with the custodian races. For those that make it that far and they start waking up and realizing there's something strange that's going on. With the spacecraft that are flying around, that's not ours, way too advanced. I found out about those from secondhand experience from my brother who was in the Navy. Now, this is common knowledge. If you stand watch on a U.S. carrier out in the oceans, then you know that there's something out there. There's these ships, there's orbs, there's different things. They don't make any sound and they move like no ship, really super, super fast. They go in the ocean, out of the ocean. So my brother told me about them back in the 80s. He was on the USS Iwo Jima. Again, confirming, the more information that I get, the more confirmation that I get. So the The reptilian amphibious races inside the Earth are custodians of this planet. They've been in position, making ready for today's events and those at the end of the age for millions of years. They were custodians for eons before any such thing as Adam and Eve and Cain and Abel or the serpent showed up. We should expect the devil's minions have tried to work their influence over the custodians from the beginning. Elijah will show up and all the custodians will be ready to assist in the restoration of all things. So I'll go back to 2 Kings chapter 2, start at 10. And Elijah is just normal and natural. He's not shocked, surprised, or anything. He's been there and done that. He crossed the river and the chariot of fire comes down. He gets in, they take him to heaven. Scripture doesn't say that the chariot of fire took him into the air. It says it took him to heaven in a spaceship. They've been doing this from what I can tell, according to my research, this has been going on for a long, long time. And they're waiting and they're ready. They're not satanic. They go back to the infinite realm where we're gods. Genesis 1:1, in the beginning, God, we are members of God's body. We're sons of the living God. You are God, Psalms 82:6. That Christ quotes, John 10:34 through 36. He's quoting from the Psalm right there, saying that you are gods. He's making a point because he's claiming to be the Son of God and they want to stone him over it. He said, whoa, wait a minute. You're gods because we're from God's infinite realm. You are, I am. We all know each other there. That's what the satanic rebellion happened. Now we're victims or we're perpetrators and we're here redoing things already done. The Lord God made this rock, third one from the sun, to be the judgment room. And we're replaying things. Ecclesiastes 1 start at 9. Things that have already been done. Now look at it from that perspective, what I'm trying to explain here. The 6-day people, the Chinese, the Aborigines, American Indians, they're all Rh positive. They all have long, dark, well, if they grow it long, they have black hair, high percentage beardless. They are all Rh positive exclusive. They have features and characteristics that are different from the Seventh-day people that are part of Adam and Eve's recent incarnation. That was about 12,500 years ago. That's when the serpent, Adam and Eve, in skins, that's what happens. They're given skins, not animal skins. Well, animal skins, yeah, but human skins. Everything before Genesis 3:21 is in heaven. They're kicked down onto the earth after the fall 12,500 years ago. Though the amphibious races and the reptilian races were here, they evolved from the waters of Genesis 1:20. And the amphibious came first, the reptilian came second, and then the mammals came last. But they're all related in that they evolved. So evolution is true, absolutely 100% true, adapting to a changing environment. But creation is true too for Seventh-day people. Once you realize they're not competing explanations, they are complementary, everything starts making sense. And so for millions and millions of years, the amphibious and reptilian races were here long before a serpent ever showed up, relatively recently from their perspective. They have to do what they have to do. And they have great power. Those that are inside the earth, great power over time and space. Their technology is way far advanced than anything that we can imagine over time and space. So they're biding their time until Elijah shows up to restore all things. That's what they're waiting for. The same guy, the Magi, the Messiah, the same guy everybody's waiting for is Elijah coming to restore all things. That's who the Persians are waiting for too. They're Magi. They just don't know it's the same guy. Okay, so Arizona has water to waste. Well, that's not really what you mean. Arizona is, you're saying based on the way that everybody's acting, those that are in control, because the water's being wasted everywhere. In Texas, it's being wasted. More and more of the water that's running in the rivers is being lost to, well, the super hot conditions that we're having right now, but also the ground is heating up from the bottom. Super plume. That migrating magma underneath is so hot it's melting the underside of the tectonic plates. The heat's coming right through. The pulse is coming from the southern hemisphere because that's where the magnetic portal connection is from the black star. It's connecting and disconnecting, and it's rapid now because we're on the same side of the solar system as the black star. Then a series of pulses is coming from the southern hemisphere to the north. There's evidence of magma wave action that I haven't seen before. So right now we have, um, I'll just show you, 4 magnitude earthquakes between 6 and 8 kilometers depth, 5 and 8 kilometers depth. See 5 and 6 right here, 4 magnitude earthquakes. We don't get a lot of 4 magnitude earthquakes out in the middle of the country like this, do we? This is the edge of the North American craton. So this is magma wave action, severe magma wave action. These are usually 2.5, 2.9. These are bigger, happening in the center part of the country. And this shows magma wave action coming from this direction and smashing up against the side of the North American craton. So that magma is normally flowing in this direction. Sometimes it goes this way more. Sometimes it comes this way more from the west and from the south. When it comes from the south, you get the billowing magma wave action in the crotch formation of the North American craton. That's what New Madrid is. Not seeing that. Instead, you're seeing high magnitude. I mean, for magma upwelling, that's hot. 4 magnitude earthquakes, big, a big quake. So just quickly, this is since I reported last to you guys. There are 2 6s. Oh, by the way, in my report it says that the deep harmonic tremor activity on quarter 1 would be on the Coral Islands, which there it is, just struck. And so where's the next one going to be? Most likely, it's the whole cycle is going to start again down here in Indonesia. You're going to see one of these down here, right here. It's going to be turned white. Now this one will turn pink. The one that's not here yet will be white. This one here, Japan, is going to be redder, 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 and to drop off the map. It's a repeating cycle that was identified years ago. Then lighter colored, the pink and the white, more lighter colored than darker colored, that tells you that the activity is increasing. Deep harmonic tremor activity underneath the Indonesia side. I'm sorry, the Fiji side of the origination zone. Then this is a relatively new activity over the last 5 years since this deep harmonic tremor activity pushed all the way south to the North Island, New Zealand, and then this activity started down here. So you're seeing more larger magnitude earthquake, more larger magnitude up to 5.3 down here to the south. That this activity is trying to surround Antarctica. You're seeing more and more news about the average temps going through their winter 36 degrees higher than normal because the super plume is now underneath there and it's being heated from the bottom, from the underside. So what's happening? That's quite a bit of white just showed up. Not even showing you the whole week, half a week. A lot of larger quake activity out west. The 5s have disappeared, at least for now. Seeing 4s down here, 4s up in here. Then there's Silky put out another, see what am I doing here? Silky put out another video showing the circular motion of the quake, the Venezuelan quakes. Some people think it's one long duration quake instead of a 7.2 and a 7.5. But whenever you're watching her videos, you can see that the ground is not just shaking, it's moving in a circular motion. It's really odd. That's why she's shown so many videos of it, because each time she looks at it, she finds more odd activity. That's the one that struck whenever the epicenter location was just about like this. Black star was over there. The moon was right over that location, and it created a straight line. There's a Substack post on that. Then more and more news coming out of Iceland. The This region of Iceland right here is in extreme danger. This magma is regional magma, like with Hawaii, because of the horn formation sticking up from the superplume. It's been migrating, but something flipped. This was really, really active. First, we had a lot in the Canary Islands some time ago. That ceased, and then the activity in Iceland really, really kicked off. They were saying the eruption is going to continue for 1,000 years and stuff like that. Then it ceased too, because they didn't understand the source is the pooling magma from around those horn formations. Well, now there's a lot of pooling that's happened here, and the pressure has not been relieved. And I do believe the video is still pulled up. I'll point you in that direction. It's something catastrophic underneath a power plant. Looks like it's about to happen in Iceland, and this is a kind of large activity coming out the along the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, south and west of that position. Then very little bit of just since I gave you a report last, nothing along quarter 3 now. So activity is trying to diminish as we're moving away from the black star. This just one spot along the Mid-Atlantic Ridge till you get down here to the south, 5-pointer. Nothing along quarter 4 here. So that's where we're sitting right now. Just want to look at the depths. There was an odd quake in here. I was looking at this earlier. 122 kilometers. You don't get a lot of those underneath Hawaii. Look to the side, you can see it. Deep activity. There's one at 38 and one at 7. Nothing at everything. The last I checked, because I didn't check this morning. Last I checked, then the escape hatch is being utilized. I do believe we're in event number 40 right now. So that's pretty much what St. Lawrence Seaway activity is trying to kick off again too. Okay, so the no explanation needed. Instead, all you need is to invest 2 minutes 49 seconds to see how poorly water shortage is being handled in Arizona. The United States is in a lot of trouble. We're losing. There's a video that I'm about to show you. I do believe it's the size of Delaware each year. In the middle part of the United States, that was the breadbasket of the world. Well, it's still supposed to be. We're pushing into Dust Bowl conditions in Nebraska. The big water supply deep under the earth, it's not infinite. It's finite, and more areas are if they're not pumping mud already, they're about to be. The United States is in a lot of trouble. So again, even the North American craton is heating up from all sides. The magma from the pooling magma that's migrating around, more and more of that is pressed against the North American craton. It's heating up. And it takes a long time to heat up the craton. It's so big, but once it heats up, it's really difficult to cool it back down again. It's part of the reason you're seeing the change in the weather. because the atmosphere is hot and it's global. The ocean's hotter, everything's hotter. Then when the pressure goes up, you get up above 30 millibars, then there could be moisture in the atmosphere, but it doesn't condense. So low pressure is where you get the condensation, then you get the cloud formation, then you get the rain. When the pressure's too high and we're getting ready to have a high pressure dome form over the United States, it's going to stick with us. Then you can have some moisture in the atmosphere, but it doesn't condense. It's so much pressure, and then you don't get enough snow in the mountains to provide the water for the Colorado River, for Lake Mead. It's the chain reaction. And then because the heat coming from underneath the tectonic plates, the water that's in the rivers, that's in the creek beds, that's in the aquifers, then that water, a chain reaction starts, and then those water resources shrink way faster than the supercomputers can even keep up. So the United States is already in trouble. It's not just the United States. When we go through the links, I'll show you it's happening in Central Asia too. It's a northern hemisphere phenomenon. So when the black star gets closer to us, then Earth loses its ability to sustain life. You have severe drought in places, and then you have severe flood in adjacent locations. In either case, it's extremely difficult just to plant crops and to make it through the planting and harvesting season under those conditions. It's a perfect storm. What's coming for the United States, Western civilization, and the world is a perfect storm that leads to the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Although this is not the end of the age, the Earth, because at the end of the age, the black star is going to come again. We're experiencing many of the same symptoms. Right now, it's going to be worse at the end of the age than it is now, but it's still, starvation is going to wipe out a large percentage of the population. And the other part that isn't killed by hunger and disease and pestilence is going to suffer because of the migration of those that are being wiped out. So the entire region is on the slippery slope already towards having no water for the population. The problem is widespread and even facing the Mississippi River. You guys, you realize the Mississippi River is running dry, right? The saltwater incursion is pushing further and further north. They've constructed a sill to stop. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week project to build a mud sill on the bottom of the Mississippi River to stop the flow of salt water pushing north. And at some point, that's going to collapse. That salt water is going to continue rushing north. Superplume is heating the tectonic plates from below, accelerating the evaporation process, not to mention extreme hot temperatures and drought. The U.S. is in big trouble. Most people don't even see what's coming. Imagine what happens when barges cannot navigate up and down the Mississippi. Barges right now are having to lighten their load. In order to be profitable, they have to fill those barges absolutely full. Whenever you can only fill them 70% or 60% or 50%, you still are going to use the fuel and the people, the time, but you have to make a lot more trips. Okay, before I move on, the special is still going. Take advantage of it while you can. Eventually, the special is going to stop. You order your Nano Silver, have your order in by 8 a.m. Silver time on Friday. You get your tracking number Friday afternoon. And Deliveries will be Monday and Tuesday. Last week, all the orders were shipped on Thursday because I had to go see Nikki. Okay, we're looking for 6 magnitude earthquakes. We're looking for just about 2. So you can look at the averages, 1.8, 1.6, 1.9. Moving to this period, just recently, says we're coming into the alignment with the black star, we're up in the 3 range. 26.5, that's about right for the last 6 years. We've been in the, just one time, we were above 30. And then 364, that's artificially high because of the 908. But see the average down here? As in years past, I have taken this number down, taken it out of the equation entirely whenever the average is thrown off wildly, but it's not. See, we're going 339, 309, 337. It was actually a decrease by just a few. So if this number was way out of whack and this number threw it off, then I'd be inclined to toss it. That would bring the average way down. But this is less than it actually was last week, so leave that number as it is. The way this looks at the bottom of the chart, you see the red values, they just keep on coming. 300 or more is par for the course here lately. And not just barely making it in the 300s. 301, 302, 360, 402, 487. And ever we drop down, just barely making it into the green values. 2 exceptions here and here over the last 3 months. This report will be updated on Wednesday. The traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is way below pre-war levels. Trump is briefed for options, and we should expect this trend is going to continue as nations figure out a way around Strait of Hormuz, particularly if they're allied with the United States in any way. Western Europe, you're going to have to figure something out. We're in serious trouble on the oil front. The emergency reserves have been used to keep everybody from panicking, but we're that sucking sound, we're getting ready to hit the bottom of that. I did see a report where Saudi Arabia is flooding the market with that heavy crude oil. We'll see if that turns out to be the case. If that's true, we should expect to see there's no more drawdown of the emergency reserves, right? That's really what we should be keeping an eye on more than any of the stories. That's one thing I'm noticing. Looking at the headlines, looking at the different narratives that's being pushed, then remember that it's the global banksters that are running the show. You're seeing these narratives going back and forth about Trump is the boss, Netanyahu's the boss, and the story keeps going back and forth about who's really the boss. Is Netanyahu? Is it the Israeli lobby manipulating Trump? Is it the Epstein files that they're holding over his head? It's the banksters manipulating both Netanyahu and Trump. Once you realize that, then you see that this is championship wrestling at its best. It's fake. The whole thing. It's these different narratives are being used to keep you occupied and keep you looking at the puppets, intently upon the puppets, so you never see the puppeteer. So whenever you're trying to figure out the real agenda, what's really happening, it's the global banksters, and they want to get you onto a central bank digital currency. They want to digitize, tokenize everything, including you and the chips in your vehicle and in your refrigerator, everything. They want everything videotaped digitally and given AI access to everything. That's where we're headed. Netanyahu's not running that show. Trump isn't either. It's the global banksters manipulating both of them. And Putin and Xi and Zelensky and all the rest of them. Not just Super El Nino. A record-setting worldwide ocean wave is causing insane weather. Amen. Migrating magma, etching the tectonic plates under the oceans, creating more efficiency for heat to go right through the plate, right through the water, heating up the oceans. And we're on the escalation ladder. I'm not talking about the wars, because both are escalating. But the weather, the earth, ocean temperatures, the air temperatures in the northern hemisphere, getting hotter and hotter and hotter moving forward. Super plume is growing out of control, bursting beyond the Earth mineral transition zone boundaries, forcing glassy-type magma to mix with rocky-type magma. Massive mountain-like superplume horn formations are pushing nearer to the global tectonic plates, increasing inner Earth heat transfer that is heating our ocean waters. Should expect the Earth weather to be off the chain moving forward as our planet loses its ability to sustain life. That's what's happening. 111 million U.S. adults do not have a job, and America spends more than $1 trillion per year on the social safety net for them, and it's really higher than that. But just imagine what happens if the money's cut off. This is the money that we're allowed to see. There are records for, because there's a black market that's out there, and there's all the tip of the iceberg has been shown about the fraud, waste, and abuse, what's going on in Minnesota, what's going on in California. And you're not hearing about that as much, are you? It's not in the headline as much because it's everywhere. And if you turn it all off, if you turn off this 111 million right here, the economy would they're talking about liquidity crisis. This is what's needed to keep the system going, to keep people going to Walmart and buying goods. If there's no subsidy, it's not going to happen. But what's this doing? It's adding to the debt. First time in history, and now we're paying more interest on our debt in the United States than we pay on national defense, or there is no more Department of Defense now, on war. There's Department of War. Now, so I ran the numbers again, which usually after the first of the month that happens. And it's the same trend. The jobs report and the jobs report came in, Department of Labor reported. This was 56K. It's a dismal number, and it's not even true. They didn't create that many jobs. Okay, so the Department of Labor reported 222,000 first-time unemployment claims as the 4-week moving average. Whenever you add up the number of first-time unemployment claims for the last 4 weeks, it's not even a full month, last 4 weeks, the average is 222,000. Multiply by 4, you're supposed to multiply by 4.3 because there's more than 28 days. But just using this number here, that's 880,000 fewer jobs for the previous 28 days and only 56K jobs added. That's 832,000. Every time that I've run these numbers after the first of the month, they've been 750,000 or more, 750,000. Every single month that I've been doing this, there's that many fewer people that have a job. And then those are only the people that qualify for their employer pays into the unemployment insurance program. So back when I was in business, that was 2.5% for unemployment. that if one of my employees became unemployed, didn't have work for me anymore, then he could go on the system. Many companies, they they don't pay for they don't have the insurance. Lots of companies, especially if they're working illegal aliens, then they just don't pay into it. And whenever those people get laid off, there's no record of it. This number is the minimum number, 880,000, 888. Yeah. So it's likely that there are a million people that don't have jobs this month that had a job last month. That number keeps going down. But even with these numbers, the unemployment rate ticked down just a little bit. How is that possible? Because so many people dropped off the rolls. It's the way that they're the bean counters. It's the way that they're keeping up with it. 111 million people, adults, they don't have a job. They've dropped off. They stopped looking, and then they're not counted anymore. So eventually, the unemployment rate's going to be zero, and nobody's going to have a job. And all they're going to focus on is not the number of unemployed, not people don't have jobs. It's going to be that nobody was laid off this month. That'll be the headline. Nobody was laid off this month. Oh, nobody has a job. So everybody, yeah. So it's shared these two video links. Ukrainian troops surrendering in mass. Russian forces advance. Propaganda war is going on, and much of that is trying to make the case that Russia is losing the war. At the same time that Russia is making advances. And Putin just hit Kyiv with the biggest attack since the war, from what I understand. War on agriculture never ends. Glyphosate. In the food chain, when you check out this image, some of the symptoms that I'm what's going on in my guts is on this chart right here. That's where I was working when I realized I better make this report. So what I would have put in the newsletter, help you guys see the threats better, is going to be showing up in these links. States gas pumps are shutting off. This is Global Rapture Watchers. Brian, you sent this in. I told you I'd share it, brother. This fellow has the religious twang that you guys hear from me every now and then. But his reporting is accurate. And Brian, he made that point to me. Because you're not hearing that on Fox News. What's really happening?
This gives the power to the government to force telecommunications companies to be able to monitor your content. First of all, look at your metadata, look at your location services, look at your browsing history, but most importantly, to potentially be able to shut you down without giving you a reason. In fact, they can even have a gag order on the telecommunication companies so that they're not even allowed to tell you why you've apparently been shut down by the government. But they do have that ability now.
That's what happened to me with my Black Star channel at YouTube. Extremely vague, and not even for something not a video that I made. I was making 2 and 3 minute videos saying, go to Rumble. Never had one issue with Rumble or BitChute or Brighteon. YouTube, though. That it seemed to me, because they went back 6 months to find something wrong, and then 4 months to find something wrong. Not a video that I just made. And there was no attempt to say, well, you need to not do this, not do that. It just says against the guidelines. It's against the guidelines. It's against the guidelines. So they weren't trying to instruct me. They didn't want to delete a video and say, look, you nothing. They took me down. And I cannot go back and ask them to reinstate it. Whenever I try, it says your account will not be reinstated, no matter what I do. I don't believe that YouTube did this. I don't think the algorithm did it. I think that I got on a list, the government that provided to them. Similar station, what's going on here is not just a Canadian issue. Like a lot of what we see out of Canada, eventually it's going to come here to the United States. It's just Canadians, hate to say it to my brothers and sisters in Canada, or those of you in England, you guys are treated like subjects more than citizens. Here in the United States, we're being we're in line to be treated the same way. It's happening here too. 25 forgotten home defense tricks our grandparents use to protect their families when the grid goes. So these links, see if you look at the top of the newsletter right here, they can trouble, forgotten tricks, how to set up and run your atmospheric water generator. See, this is what's just been added. This is about the kids that set up a lemonade stand. And then this guy here building, he's growing tomatoes out of bags. Pretty cool stuff. Forgotten tricks for defending your home. So how to set up and run your atmospheric water generator. Water right out of the air, the system. This is what happened to these kids. This fella here, he's driving by. They have their little jar, lemonade stand. You ever do that? Lemonade stand. People come by, which back in, my day, we were talking in the 60s, 70s. Nobody ever thought about coming by and stealing kids' lemonade money. That's what this guy does. He jumps out and grabs their jar and runs off with it. Gets in his car and runs away. Kids are horrified. They go in the house. It was the cops came and she reported it. She sent the video viral online, and the local community found out, and they came by and they supported the kids. Like hundreds of people, giving them $50 for a glass of lemonade. It was a pretty cool story. This is he just takes a tomato and it shows a step by step 3 days germination. Then he puts them in the bags. He cuts holes in the bags. And he creates a drip for this here drips on like so. And he's got his tomato plants coming up. And it never goes outside. So he's able to protect them. I think it's a screened environment. And he does some little trellis work. And then he has these big old tomato plants. I have a picture. I haven't shown the biggest tomato plant that I've ever seen is over at Nikki's house, right by their front door. I got a picture of it. I haven't uploaded it yet. But this guy right here, he's got him some tomatoes, man. Right out of the bags. Carrie Cassidy. Artemis missing scientists, Iran war. I listened to a little bit of it, and this is in the links at the top. Kind of some crazy stuff that you're hearing about there. This is one of the top featured articles. Central bank group warns AI investment boom could trigger global market crash and recession. It's part of the larger plan, the data centers. So you have the illegal aliens that are here. 40 to 50 million illegals are still here. Holman's not rounding them all up. He's only getting the worst of the worst. The rest, they're still here. That's why there's a housing crisis here. That's what happens when you have a country of about 300 million people and you insert 40 million illegal aliens. And they have the support of these different companies. Our wages are pushed down because the companies can hire illegals. They're here. And then on top of that, the more illegals you have here, the more competition there is, the more need there is for resources like electricity and water. And the more of these data centers that are built, there's more competition for limited resources like electricity and water. You see the pattern? That's what's being done to us. And now it's getting ready to get really hot. And the air conditioners are going to be on, and then blackouts, brownouts first, and then blackouts in areas. We'll see how that progresses. We're ending the first week in July. Wait to the end of August. We'll have a better idea. So this AI investment boom can be leading to something not so good. Something is bad. No, China did not manage to avoid a crash. It looks. I've been watching the Chinese. There's a young couple over there. May is her name. I can't remember his name. And it showed they go walking in the. I've shown them to you before. In their life, they're going and buying things at the market and things. And the one thing I'm noticing is the price on everything is way, way lower, and way, way, way lower than here in the United States. So they have China has its societal support mechanisms just like the United States. They get their little check, called unemployment check or whatever you want to call it. They seem to be able to make it in China, where the videos that I'm seeing of Americans, they're not making it. The currency is being devalued so fast now. I'm seeing more videos of the changing prices in the Walmarts. Remember a couple of years ago, I told you what was going to happen. It's happening. It's happening right now. The prices are changing depending on how many people are in the store. They're changing right in front of people's eyes. Okay, here's the Linus of Judah, her end time headlines. I want to comment on some of the headlines. U.S. celebrating a birthday. Didn't really feel like much of a birthday. The videos, a lot of them that I was able to check out, talking about Trump's family, and it reminds me so much of Biden and the fraud with the stable coins fraud, the Trump coin, the Melania coin. They've lost 99% of their value. Trump started it up, drove the price up, sold, got out, and the whole thing crashed. And it's happening over and over again. So it's a lot of corruption that's being revealed. And MAGA is figuring it out. Some of MAGA, and part of MAGA is never going to figure it out. They're going to go down with the ship. Trump targets communism for second consecutive night during the address. Where is communism? Where are you going to find true communism anywhere in the world? You have forms of socialism that are out there. 3% of the people controlling 97% of the people. No real communism. I haven't seen any examples. You have people that are called communists, but they're running a socialist regime. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's the way it looks to me. So this is a straw man argument, making a case for something that doesn't exist, in my view. And Trump is trying to make that statement because the currency is being debased so quickly, and that's being made equal to capitalism. The capitalism is great. Capitalism is the way to go. Somebody with nothing can bust their tail and go out and become a millionaire. They can do that under capitalism whenever the currency isn't debased. When you debase the currency, you're cutting the legs out of everybody that's starting off. The prices are going up too fast. They don't make enough. I answered some comments. This guy talks about his business. I've heard this a lot of times because I was a business owner, and I'm in 1980s. My laborers made $15 an hour. My masons made $20 and up in 1980s. And I went and looked at some hired. I just did a little search. This company's hiring. That company's hiring. $15 an hour. Today, that's not a living wage. So the wages are depressed because there's 40 million illegal aliens running around, and Americans are hiring more than their fair share. And they expect U.S. citizens to work for the same price. It's not possible. When you have 20 illegals living in one house, they're sharing expenses. I mean, I lived with overseas in a house with 7 other people. I mean, we were there legally. We had contracts and everything, but that's what we would do is we would live under those conditions and all split the rent. And then we sent our money back home, brought it back home with us as much as possible. That's what's going on here. So big speeches ahead of Independence Day. Greatest breakup letter ever written. Seems like forever ago since I read this. Declaration of Independence, read out loud. You should. It's the greatest breakup letter ever written. Just 33 years old. Jefferson, cold moral clarity, told British government to pound sand. So the people here in the United States, yeah, whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, it is the right of the people to abolish it. Good luck with that. Corruption killed Rome, it killed Greece, killed Persia, the Media Persian Empire. Every representative type government ends up in corruption 100% of the time. Like every fiat currency ends up worthless every percent, 100% of the time. Eventually, that's what happens. And it's because of corruption. They make coins out of high amount of silver and gold, and then that's diluted until it's all clad. That happens every time. Signatories. Brooklyn Bridge burst into flames. This was one of the cross posts, one of the things that happened over the weekend that seemed mysterious to Michael Snyder. Okay, gave Iran a week off because we were nice. Trump references, well, Trump was trying to sneak ships through on the Omanian side of the Strait of Hormuz. And Iran was kind of letting some of that happen, but a lot of ships were turned back around. Every opportunity that Trump gets, then he cheats on the MOU that he signed. He's desperately trying to get a better deal, even though the Iranians have no reason to let him out of the deal. That's the contract that you signed. Well, obviously it's not binding. Trump's big talk, he's going to knock the hell out of Iran. No, the United States lost the war already. It's done. There's no military way to open up the Strait of Hormuz. Iran holds all the cards. So, like a lot of people are saying, I agree. The MOU was a document giving Iran everything that it wanted because the United States was defeated. Israel's been defeated already. No sign. Yeah, Khomeini's sons, I think they'd be crazy to come out because the Iranians using the U.S. military weaponry would kill That's what the Iranians do. Islamic Republic supporters chant "Kill Trump" at the funeral. Tit for tat, man. Nobody's hiding the fact that the United States and Iran were in negotiations, peace negotiations, whenever that happened. So just hypothetically, imagine that the situation was turned around. We're negotiating with the Iranians, and the Iranians kill Trump and his family. What do you think that MAGA would want to do? Why should we suspect that the Iranians are going to want to do anything different? You see how many people, what they say, 9 million people? Lots of people were trying to show up there and they couldn't. They couldn't get close enough to even do anything. They got worn out. The professor, he tried and tried and tried. He couldn't get there and he went home. He had to take a nap. Massive surrender to Iran, former Israeli ambassador. Yeah, the U.S.-Iran MOU, that was a surrender document. Exactly. But the United States had no other choice. Well, we're out of interceptor missiles. What else are you going to do? You send our military in, everybody's going to be killed. Trump says Netanyahu knows who the boss is. It's the banksters, the global bankster cartel. They both work for us. Neither this guy, this goes back and forth like a tennis match. The ball goes back this side of the net, then it goes to this side of the net, and back and forth and back and forth. It's not true. The banksters are telling both of these guys what to do. Both are selling out America and Israel. We're just not getting the images of what's happening in Israel. It's parts of Israel looking like Gaza and Lebanon. Israel sent Iron Dome, dozens of IDF troops, United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates is going, the way it looks to me, is not going to, it's no longer going to exist as United Arab Emirates by the time all this is said and done. They should be working with the rest of the Arabs to join an alliance with Iran. As the United States is leaving the region, I'm expecting at some point that Iran makes a demand that the United States leave the Middle East, or else. That's going to happen not whenever Iran makes up its mind or when BRICS makes up its mind. It's when the banksters say so. Israel's U.S. convoy, Lebanon deal ties IDF withdrawal to Hezbollah disarmament. There's never going to be a Hezbollah disarmament, ever. It's never going to happen. This is similar to the Revolutionary War days for the United States. George Washington leading the revolutionaries against the British and saying, oh, well, you guys got to disarm. Do you think George Washington is going to disarm? No, ever. To the last man. We're going to fight and we're going to kill all you guys, or you're going to get on your ships and go the heck home. Well, the British figured out. The United States, we didn't fight using traditional methods. We cheated. We cheated like crazy. We're not going to stand out in the middle of a field and shoot each other. That's stupid. We're going to sneak up on you and we're going to shoot you, and everybody with a uniform on that as a general or lieutenant or somebody that's in a position of power, the fancy looking, they look kind of like chickens, and it's the ones with the nice plumage that you shoot, right? That's what we did with muskets from far away. We shot and we killed their leaders and we ran. And they got sick and tired of it. They called us cowards and all that. You go, yeah, ha ha. Go get yourself another general. Oh, well, that's asymmetric war. That's the kind of warfare you're seeing over there with Hezbollah, and they're taking a lot of casualties. They're making a lot of casualties for the Israelis. Oh, I mean, I hate to say it because I know a lot of people are blinded by Trump in the United States and the Israel lobby and the banksters, but the freedom fighters, Hezbollah came into being in 1982 as an answer to invasion by Israel. They would have never existed if Israel just stayed on its side of the border. And now you see what's happening in Gaza and what's happening in Lebanon. the Greater Israel Project is what they're trying to do by killing their neighbors. And the number one plank of the MOU is that hostilities have to stop, particularly in Lebanon. Israel is trying to have it all ways, have it their own way. They continue to go across the border into Lebanon and to take territory and to do pretty much whatever they want. The saddest part of the whole thing is the missiles and bombs and the tanks that they're using provided by the United States. That's why the United States and Israel deserve the fate that's coming. And that's my view. I don't like being on a bad guy. They the anti-Hezbollah voices in Lebanon, that's propaganda. The anti the Israelis, their lobby and the people being paid off in Lebanon amongst the leadership over there, they have sold out their own people. They're willing to take their money and to give the entire country over to Israel. So they want to break Iran's proxy power. Hezbollah is fighting for the people in the land of Lebanon. Arabs fighting against Jews. They're invading and trying to take them over. I don't see them ever disarming. And I'm with the freedom fighters. I hate to tell you, Israel just needs to go home. Wait for Elijah. Elijah will come and make everybody happy. Everybody be happy when Elijah expands Israel. Everybody's gonna be happy about it. But Elijah is the only one that can restore all things. Elijah is not coming to restore some things. He's coming to restore all things. Oh, that includes the temple. That includes Israel all the way to the Euphrates River. Only Elijah can do that. You can't do that with tanks and missiles and bombs and stuff. That's just going to make the world hate Israel and the United States even more. All the destruction that Israel's causing around Israel and Lebanon and Gaza is just making more terrorists. Children where their fathers are killed, their mothers are killed, their brothers and sisters are killed. What do you think they're going to do? They're going to want to go kill Israel in increasing numbers. Why, this is the only salt. I do believe Dr. Deborah sent this in, and this video is at the top of the video links in the newsletter. Night Shadows radio. This was cross-posted over the weekend, and at a certain point in the video, I do believe it's in the links at the top. He talks about brown recluse bite and nanosilver, how I use nanosilver. Nanosilver is like my magical solution for snake bites, brown recluse bites, bee stings. Don was out here working around the place and he got stung by a wasp. And we put the 500, it was throbbing. It's happened to me twice since I've been here. Throbbing pain. Right when the wasp gets you, you can like feel your heartbeat in it. Boom, boom. It's bad. 500 parts per nanosilver on it stops the pain instantly. Like a miracle. Bee stings, wasp stings, spider bites. On my spider bite, I put on my boot one morning and had a brown recluse spider in it. Bit me on the foot. I killed it. I mean, it was the bite really painful. 500 parts per million. Put it right on there. Developed a ring after a few days. I put it on there kept putting the 500 parts per million on it. Developed a ring that got bigger and bigger and bigger till it faded. But beyond this, the bite, that little bitty prick, never broke the skin. Like a miracle. So, of course, I had to chime in and start 20 minutes in. And so about 2.5 minutes, he tells the story about the brown recluse bite and the nano silver. So I wanted to share it, and I offered to do an interview with Stuart. Never heard from him. Never heard back. But I tried. Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is way lower. And even if everything started back and went to normal, over 100 ships per day going through, we're already way, way, way behind. Not just a super El Nino. Most people aren't aware. They're the frog in the warming water coming to a boil, totally unaware. People aren't aware of what's happening. United States, that is really bad because when they do wake up, like remember when COVID first started, everybody ran and bought all the toilet paper, buy all the water, they buy like a storm in Florida when a hurricane's coming, same thing happens. Everybody runs at the same time and the store's empty. That's what's going to happen. Perfect storm coming. People are going to realize how desperate the situation really is, and then everybody's going to run out to get things, and then the truckers are going to run out of their diesel. Perfect storm is coming. I'm not kidding you. When you see rationing of diesel and then rationing of food, Mad Max is going to come out and play. You're seeing people, lawlessness, people taking over the streets, do with their cars and this and that. Wait till Mad Max takes over the streets, takes over the intersections, start robbing banks. The cops aren't going to come. Because Mad Max is going to be out there eating cops for lunch. Activation Day is coming. The war on agriculture never ends. Be careful about using this stuff. Cancer-causing carcinogens. The end of silver manipulation, July 4th. King silver rigger, JP Morgan flips back to $62 trillion derivatives bomb. Would you see derivatives bomb and silver in the same line? We're getting closer and closer. See if anything came out this morning yet. Holy poop, Batman. 514K full-time jobs gone overnight. And it's only the beginning. I'm not kidding you. Perfect storm happening in the center part of the United States. Dust bowl conditions growing. Fertilizer shortage. Plants are not being planted. We're still eating canned goods from last harvest right now. Stock up while you can. Payroll data just confirmed worst case scenario. I shared that with you this morning. Oh, wait a minute. I want to go back. There we go. Too late to stop. Oil market just signaled the worst possible scenario. That's what's about to happen. Most people don't realize how bad things really are. Central banks, the reset. Why are banks buying so much gold? The price is artificially pushed down so that the riggers, the exchanges, the banksters can get their gold and get their silver right now. The price, everything's going to flip on the other side. They're getting what's available right now through the exchanges. They're going to suck that dry. The vaults are going to run out. Then they're going to flip it over and they're going to raise the price to get you to sell your silver so they can get that too. Watch and see. It's going to happen. It's going to $120, $121 where it reached the max on silver. It's going to blow through that. It's going to go up and up and up. And people are going to sell and let it go whenever they shouldn't because the dollars that you're getting for that silver are going to become worthless. The riggers know that. The exchanges, central banks, they know that. They're going to crash the dollar and bring out the central bank digital currencies that nobody's going to accept until the system crashes. Trump's Fed will be forced to print money like crazy. Yeah, that's devaluing the dollars that are in your pocket, right? So if the dollars in your pocket, the dollars in the system are being devalued, why is the price of gold and silver depressed? Doesn't make sense, does it? The whole thing is manipulated. Down in the 60s, West Texas Intermediate, in the 60s, it should be twice this much. People are paying over $100 for actual oil, barrels of oil, out there in the real world. This is the paper price being manipulated, just like silver, paper price being manipulated. So take advantage of the manipulation while you can. Just realize all these bubbles are going to pop. And whenever they pop, the derivatives, that the underlying bets of all this, all everything I'm showing you has underlying derivatives bets one way or another. Some people going long, people going short. Trillions and quadrillions of dollars of bets. The derivatives bubble is going to pop first, and it's going to expose gold, private equity, the private credit market, and one by one, the giant banks and the hedge funds, everything that's connected together are going to go down, be pulled. They're all chained together, and they're all going to be sucked under. Then the silver that you have is going to be worth way more, and the dollars you have are going to be worth nothing. They're going to say, hey, you can start getting your Social Security in this digital currency, and you'll be good to go. You just have to give us this and this, your biometrics, your face, your thumbprint, and then they're going to monitor everything. That's why they need the data centers for the prison state that they're building. China's collapse index hits a new high. Something is breaking inside the system. Well, this is not just the United States. This is the news release, 222,000, the 4-week moving average. It's really the only number I pay attention to on all this. Don't be surprised when that jobs number, that little bitty, itsy bitty jobs number, right here, 57,000. Don't be surprised when that number is revised down. So we need, what is it, 132,000 new jobs created per month to keep up with population growth. Vault run continues as COMEX gold inventory plunges. If the price is artificially pushed down and Miles Franklin has to sell you gold and silver based upon that depressed price, what do you expect is going to happen? We should see a headline just like this: inventories plunging, because it's not real supply and demand. The whole thing's rigged. Oh, that's flat. Had a dive this morning, a couple of hundred, but so far flat. Probably light volume. People still on vacation. 62 price of silver. That looks low compared to where it has been. It was up here. 80s, 89. You see the push down right here. Looks like it may start turning around. Looks like maybe we hit the bottom. See, it was down here, down, down, down. It looked like we came out of it, but this was only a few days. Now this trend line, maybe we did hit the bottom right here, 58. I thought it might go down to about 52. We'll see if this line, because this line, this line, and this line shows it's still depressing, being pushed down. So we'll pick a low. If you have the resources, pick a low, buy and hold. 61 over in London. 62, 61. 68 Shanghai. 11% premium. Premium went up just a little bit, about 1% since I saw you last. Price of gold. Yeah, 0.64%. What does that give us? 67, 67%. 952 213 8930. Spreadsheets right there. Come to this link, hit the spreadsheet. You'll see it's updated. This one should have been updated this morning. July 6th, yep. It's updated. So you can know the price and you can know You have this price list when you talk to Justin. This is my best post so that you can download the charts. University of Maryland. This went to New Zealand. It went to geologists around the world, that report right there. It has this file. Right click on it, save it. Save image as. Download the file and save it. Not a lot of people have it. That's showing bow shock on the nighttime side. Many people, real smart people, scientists, you show them this, let's say this is impossible. How'd you make this? Because this is impossible. No, these are keyframes taken right off the ISWA server before they were deleted. This is impossible unless there's another star-like object in the inner solar system. Here's the 7.2, 7.5 Venezuela quakes. The alignment, the configuration when that happened. 56 subscribers to the Terrell Black Star channel. God bless all 56 of you. Terracell binary biological weapon activation day is coming. Swarm attacks on our carriers, that's coming. Americans tortured in living color on primetime news, that's coming. Continental United States terror attacks, they're here right now. People think, saw a headline, was it redacted headline? COVID is over. People think COVID's over. They're carrying around the SARS biological weapon inside them, binary. That's going to be activated. They're just clueless. You're being played. Trump is a Pied Piper. That's me. That's you. I've got the pill, and some people are taking it. And most people are waking up in their beds each morning believing whatever they want to believe. Absolutely clueless how much trouble we're in. How to purchase, mix, use in store. Take advantage of this special. 8 a.m. Central Time on Fridays, the cutoff. My book, The Mystery Explained, that's attached to your notification email. The inflation is affecting everything. Nano silver, same price. For as long as I'm using the previously purchased bottles, silver nitrate, and such, I'm letting you guys benefit from that. Protect your vehicle, protect your house, protect your backup power. EMP shield, military grade stuff. Make sure you click either in the newsletter, my little card is in there, my affiliate card, or at the website, terrell03.com. You get $50 off each device that way. Almost nothing in the wave, something flary comes this way. The Yawn, C4s, M5 possible. Kind of boring. Great Plains are disappearing. What the Great Plains looked like before we broke them. See, the Great Plains are being dried out from the underside. The aquifers have been sucked dry, and then the sun is beating down on them now, and more dust conditions. Dust bowl conditions. Every year we're losing the state of Delaware. That's what he shares at the beginning of that video. Krakatoa volcano just woke up. 2 more Indonesia side of the origination zone. Regional magma, looking for somewhere to go. Iceland's volcano just erupted again, and this time it's not stopping. Lots of magma is pooled. That pooling magma has found the escape hatch. And once it does, you notice we haven't had the big eruption. It's been, oh, it's about to erupt. Oh, it's about to erupt. Well, that regional magma, it's backing up. It's looking for the escape hatch. Now that it started erupting, you're going to get a flow, kind of like Kilauea. You're going to get a continuous flow that's going to eat the super, super hot magma. It's going to break through, and it's going to heat up and melt more regional supporting rocky type crust. It's going to eat it away, become thinner and thinner, making the region more vulnerable to uplift. And more surface area is going to be exposed to this super hot until this entire region wants to rise. Then a series of breaches happen, and then you get so much flow. The top of this volcano just blows off, and then you have so much space, open space for so much flow, created more efficiency. So more of this magma starts rushing in this direction, and it's going to the escape hatch. And then the entire region begins shaking and quaking and moving. And then so much heat builds up, so much of the lower supporting rocky type magma is displaced by the super hot magma. Then the bottom of the crust eats away, eats away, eats away, eats away, and the entire region collapses. That's the scenario that we're looking at right now. That's what it's not going to stop. Listen to the commentary, you'll see that's what they're afraid of. This geologist there, they're afraid that it's going to take out the whole region. And what's sitting up on top of this region that's becoming highly, highly active? Power plant. Getting ready to have catastrophic conditions in Iceland. Mount Etna live. This could become an urgent warning. Eruption sparks volcano red alert in Sicily. The entire side Mount St. Helens scenario can happen here. Similar situation here along corridor 3. More and more that magma is pooling up. It's finding the escape hatch. When it finds it, it starts erupting and it gets continuous. The magma is going to get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter and eat away the support. You get a giant explosion, boom, that takes out the side of the mountain like Mount St. Helens, and then you have all this magma and then increased flow. All of the pooled magma that's gradually moving in this direction from the entire region begins accelerating. At some point, you reach a point of no return for the region. The entire, like Iceland, this entire region becomes unstable, and it spreads not just Etna, but to regional calderas. The whole region starts coming apart. That's what we're seeing happening in slow motion. A growing water crisis in Central Asia and the driving forces behind it. See, it's not just here in the United States. This is a Northern Hemisphere thing. Highest water stress, Central Asia. Drinking water, portions of individuals using safe drinking water has increased. Entire solar system's heating up. BP Earth Watch. He's talking about the Earth and different sections of the Earth where everything's heating up, the ocean's heating up, but it's not just here. As the black star gets closer to the sun, our sun black star magnetic portal connection is connecting and disconnecting. A higher percentage of the internal conduits are active, but the sun is siphoning more off the sun. And then it redirects that to the planets through its own magnetic portal connection network in increasing amounts. So all of those internal conduits are becoming more active than passive. So more and more energy is taken from the sun, redirected through the black star to the other planets. It's happening not just to the Earth, it's happening to the other planets too. Jupiter's been behind the sun relative to the black star. It's getting ready. I'll check on that for Wednesday's report. It's getting ready to cross that 90-degree angle position at some point to begin its uptick period. So all the planets have their own uptick period and lull period, just like the Earth does. Just Jupiter, it happens instead of 1 year on 5-year cycles. And Jupiter is going to show dramatic changes because the black star is closer to the sun. So the magnetic portal connection between black star and Jupiter is going to be the internal conduit is going to detect more subatomic particle flows than it has on previous orbit cycles. Shocking, weird force behind the double earthquake.
knocking the people off their feet. But the different angle that I have shows you basically what's going on the left side of the image here. You see the ground shaking crazy, but see there's more towers. There's three towers coming down. So there's at least one coming down on the right side and three towers on the left side. Imagine the sound. The earthquake itself makes a shocking sound.
Did you notice how it was circular in motion and the people were knocked off their feet like the buildings were knocked off their feet? That was like the Cuba quake at the alignment. Strange because of its location. Should not have happened where that Cuba quake struck. No historical precedent for it. It's just the way the Earth was turning and electromagnetic jolt went through our planet. Similar situation here whenever the moon came into alignment and amplified. Was an amplifier in the situation? Mount St. Helens permanently changed the way scientists study volcanoes. Why scientists are watching these dangerous volcanoes 24/7? Well, that pooling magma is finding the escape hatches. The pressure is building up like a blocked pore in your body, kind of. That turns into a cyst. You get this growth that's in there. So areas where you're getting the buildup, but it's not breaking through yet, that pressure is going to continue and continue. More and more of that pooling magma is going to push into the reservoir, into the magma chamber, getting hotter and hotter and hotter, burning away more and more of the rocky type supporting magma. So you have larger volume of reservoir, larger volume of magma chamber, and the crust on the top is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. That scenario continues until something pops, till the whole situation blows. This is a global phenomenon that's happening, like with Edna, like in Iceland, that's happening here the same way in the Washington State up into Alaska. Students find razor sharp line of earthquakes hidden beneath Alaska. This is the mud fossil guy. He's seeing what's happening too. Earth is spewing lava quietly, quaking violently. The scenario that I've been describing to you, it's happening. The mud fossil guy sees it too. Maybe he doesn't see the black star. He doesn't see the superplume and its influence. But this magma pooling and the migrating magma, he sees the symptoms of what's happening. Just like these other geologists that I'm showing you. Mr. MBBV guy, 333 guy, no way this is normal. What's going on? Seems like, oh, it's interesting. He shows that the dust is coming from the Sahara Desert, dust storms. Then he's talking about fireworks and lightning strikes, 66 different warnings right now, 66 of them. That's volcano, that's tornado warnings. So let me stop here just for a second. Try to make this point. As we're moving forward, I'm telling you, the black star, it's connecting and disconnecting the magnetic polar connection in the southern hemisphere or planet. So you get this bulging of Antarctica, South America, then Africa, and then it spreads north. I showed you the bulges that toward the end of the last Earth change uptick period. Well, what's happening is a series of waves, hot magma wave action is happening from the southern hemisphere pushing north. It's a steady drumbeat of magma waves pushing further north. That's drying out the northern hemisphere while the ocean waters and temperatures are rising. So the Mexico, for example, here in the United States, the Mexico weather, the dry, deserty weather is pushing further and further north. So this region right here particularly, drying out. The Rio Grande is drying out. The Colorado River is drying out. We're getting Mexican conditions, environmental conditions in the United States, and it's pushing further and further north. It's drying out the gigantic aquifer that's underneath here. It's not affecting us. Our aquifer runs that supports my drinking water from right here That's a different aquifer. That's what comes down from Minnesota north. That's what we have access to. But there's another one here that's cut off. Been there for billions of years. It's being drained, and the level of it is going down, down, down more and more and more. That's what services. That's why the Dust Bowl conditions are returning up here to Nebraska. So as this weather shifts further north, you have this is Tornado Alley right here. That's usually where it happens. You get the big, Tornado Alley right through here. Well, that is shifting north also. Now these areas up here, Illinois, Michigan, the northeastern United States, we usually don't see tornadoes. Now they're getting the tornadoes. They're shifted out of our region into, like Missouri. A lot of tornadoes striking up in here. They've been moving further and further north. The Mr. MBBB guy's going, there's no way. There is no way. This is happening. More and more, the power outage map, more and more of them are happening. This is the most that I've shown you so far, and we're ending the first week in July. Before, I do believe the highest number of states was 2. Stefan Burns, power grid failures sweep across eastern United States, solar activity spikes. So hotter and hotter temperatures, more and more ACs go on, straining the system. So right here, at this moment, we've been able to run on the batteries for 3 out of the 4 weeks of the month. We've been able to run on batteries. So we run our power for just a week. To have a small bill, because we don't want to let it run to zero and raise red flags. Never seen before. Shocking, weird, sheer force, Venezuela. That's the one I showed you right here. 2 vents. Explosions are getting stronger. Italy's vent. That regional magma, pooled magma, even though we're moving away from the black star, that pooled magma is not finished finding the escape hatch. There's more volume in this recent uptick period than any previous orbit cycle. Absolute mayhem. Non-residents in Southern California brawl, riot, loot, destroy grocery store and bars. This is becoming par for the course now. You haven't seen anything yet. Wait till Mad Max comes out. When there's food rationing, people are in line to get their food. Mad Max shows up with guns and goes to the front of the line and takes the food. This is continue. I want to show this to you. The robot shop performing a verification, website security. You're going to have to open up soon. Well, I was going to show you. It's a pretty impressive robot. Okay, you're done. You can go check it out. Oh, here's the other one. ca.robotshop.com and their products. They've really sophisticated robots are now becoming available. Marco Rubio says government will use facial recognition to authenticate your photos for your passport. Our security system will verify the facial ID. How are they going to do that unless they already have your information on file? See, the NSA already has all of our information. It's all stored. And then AI is given access to that for this verification process. So instead of going to designated places to get your photo ID for your passport, you can take it yourself. All the metadata is going to be sent along with that photo. And that's going to be added to the stockpile of information being used to track you with your cell phone information. See, that's their plan to get everybody on their system. To make the process courses easy and convenience and all that they're using to sell. But before you get shook up about this and everything, throw away your cell phone. They're already doing this through Walmart. If you go to Walmart and you go through their line, they're already gathering all that information about you. That the AI that's working in the background already knows you, already knows what you're going to get, how many bananas you're going to buy. They already know. And then if you're using one of their payment systems like OnePay, they've already connected to your bank. They already know. Sophisticated matrix. You're already part of it. You're integrated into their little AI world that AI maintains. They know you when you walk in. They identify you. They they know within a short time span of how much time you're going to spend in the store. They're going to know what your behavior patterns are, the aisles you go down, and if you're working within a baseline or if you're outside of a baseline. All of a sudden, you go there and you do something different, you're going to be watched very carefully. You go to a particular area and you only get one thing, especially if you put it in your purse and leave with it. I mean, they already know. Then chances are they're going to let you walk out the door too, because they want you to steal enough to be a felony. Then they look to drop the bomb on you. So if you know anybody that's taking stuff out of these stores, you better warn them, because there's a dossier being created on every person that walks in their store. If you're a repeat customer, especially, they already know what's going on. So this is really nothing. This is something to yawn about. We're already in the prison state. That's why I'm telling you, get on the regimen to unplug from the prison state, because you're already in their matrix. Khomeini funeral live. Millions flood Tehran streets, chanting revenge. At some point, I expect Iran to begin issuing ultimatums to the United States to get out of the Middle East entirely. IRGC announced Trump assassination plan. U.S. military practice Iran ground invasion. These are these type of operations you never announced to anybody. If you're going to target Trump, you don't tell anybody. If you want to, you take credit for it after it's done, but you've compromised your mission when anybody knows what you're doing, right? Oh, we're practicing ground invasion. So chances are this is false narratives to make you believe. So you're looking for us to do this. We have no intention of doing that at all. Trump, his generals should have no intention of a ground invasion of Iran. Everybody's going to get killed. We're not the only military that has AI with space capabilities. That's what China and Russia, they're in the forefront of. China and Russia supporting Iran. You're not going to get away with any of that stuff. You can't even bring a submarine in, do anything. Even if you do, how are you going to maintain support? You have troops on the ground. Iran's just going to laugh at you, because they're going to cut off your supply and then they're just going to kill you, or they're going to take you. Chances are they're going to capture you and they're going to torture you on CNN, just like it says on page 93. That demoralizes the enemy. Our weekly crime newscast. Gang used church for headquarters. Multiple shootings at churches. These gangs are warming up. We haven't seen anything. Lawlessness? We haven't seen lawlessness yet, like we're going to. Supreme Court finally draws a line on digital surveillance. So to me, this is a head fake story. The Supreme Court fumbled the ball deliberately and on purpose on the 14th Amendment, the subject to clause, on purpose, allowing illegal aliens that are here and as the ones that want to come here on vacation, have kids, illegals that want to cross the border to have kids, and siphon more resources from the United States. They just opened the door wide open for more chain migration. In that one ruling, which tells me they're serving the open border lobby. The subject to clause has nothing to do with illegal aliens, but that's what it's being used for. To destroy America, it's happening. So now they throw us a bone. We're drawing the line on digital surveillance. No, you're not. It's already happening. like I was just saying. There's a digital you in a B team matrix. That's not the one being maintained by super AI underground city connected to the Denver airport. That's the A team. What's going on? There's a you in there right now doing whatever you're doing. Your bio data is being used, being siphoned by super AI and fed into that host inside the simulation. That host thinks he's real. When your heart's beating, his heart's beating. You have respiration, he has respiration. In every way, that host believes that he's real, and he's not. He's living inside a created environment. At some point, AI reverses the feed and controls you with a reverse flow of biodata coming from your simulation host. That's the A team. That's what's happening real time every single day. Unless you are unplugged from the matrix, almost nobody is. But then there's the B team matrix. That's the one they let you see. The digital you. It's for medicine. It's for, I mean, there are benefits to it, but all those conveniences, that's the prison that they're bringing us into. So people at some point are going to rebel against this B team matrix and being connected. So they want to disconnect. They're never even going to know about the A team matrix. That's the plan. So you're fighting shadows, like with Trump and Netanyahu. You think those are the main players. They're not. That's what you're allowed to see. Why I went to Switzerland after my illegal arrest. Okay. Just think about illegal, being arrested illegally. You're still arrested. Israel massacres children in Gaza. Don't stop speaking up for Gaza. Well, if you're listening to Fox News and you're getting propaganda, you don't even realize these things are happening. The enforcer, Poland braces for imminent Russian attack. Then Karen, one of the links that you sent to me was talking about how Russia is on its heels and Ukraine's winning the war and this and that. So you're going to get both sides of the propaganda story, even coming from this one. This guy is extremely intense, very detailed. I disagree with some, but he's seeing disinformation propaganda just like everybody else. Some of what he's reporting is right on, and some of it's according, it's using those glasses, those lenses that are provided. NATO can't win a war with Russia. That's a fact. Thing is, the West is destroying itself. The United States, we're in big, big trouble. Putin, Russia, Xi, China, BRICS, all they have to do is sit back and eat their popcorn. The United States is destroying itself. Western Europe's doing the same thing. Why interrupt your enemy when he's destroying himself? Trump and Bibi to meet 9 million mourners. That's what's scheduled. That's a lot of mourners. The United States and Israel killed the religious leader of the region. July 4th message, one day ago, Colonel Daniel Davis. If I refresh that, then you might have something. Larry Johnson. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Larry Johnson says. He seems to be off on a few things. But still, Nima and Mario, and this is the place that I go. I'm assuming, I'm not going to focus in on any of the videos they're doing. I'm assuming that you're paying attention, keeping up with what's going on. Oops, wrong button. And it's the banksters that are in control. Home sellers panicking. Homes sit on the market for months. That's what happens when you have low, low, low interest rates for 15 years. People are using their houses as ATMs. And then the interest rates go up and they stay up. Not only people can't afford to refinance anymore, so they run up their credit card debt, they max out all their cards, and then they refinance their house that has gone up in value, and they start over again. Then they start maxing out their cards, and it's a process that has been going on for about the last 2 decades that people can't do that anymore. The interest rates are staying too high. People are having the same problem because of the increased recent interest rates and the increase in the home prices that our government is having in refinancing its debt and the bonds and what they have to pay in the yields, 5%, and what that does to paying the debt. Same problem, equates to liquidity crisis. So people are stuck with houses, they're underwater. If they take a big loss if they try to sell, so they can't upgrade. If the family's growing and you can't, 2 bedrooms not going to cut it anymore. You need a 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, but you can't afford it. And you have a 2% interest rate, 3% interest rate, and now you're going to have a 5 or 6er. Can't afford it. Can't happen. So the houses are sitting on the market. So I was saying about Don, the investment property they got from me, fix it up. Wonderful, wonderful job. Bought the house next door. He's doing really, really good. But then he turned it over, instead of selling it and taking a loss, which, I mean, he's still made money, but not as much as if the market's good. He's going to make more money turning it over to a property manager and getting paid every month. Because remember, the rents are going up, 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 and they're not stopping. So he's going to wind up with an investment, 2 investment properties side by side, easy for a management company, and checks coming in every month. He's going to wind up making more having 2 investment properties than if he would have sold it. Well, the other change is the new, I can't remember if it's executive order, if it was a new law. I think it was Trump's executive order says that these big corporations can only buy a certain number of houses. Well, their money was keeping the market going. Americans had somebody that could buy their house, that could afford to buy their house. Even though they bought it and they were taking it to rent it, still that allowed homeowners to get the money they need to upgrade, kind of kept the market going. Now that option's being taken away. It's another artificially drain created by regulation that's restricting the market. So that actually taking out the corporate buyers seems like a great deal, right? To get them out of the market. Problem is there's not enough Americans that can afford to buy the houses now because of the liquidity crisis, the affordability crisis. There are people making, I've seen videos, you guys maybe have seen them too. Guys making 115,000, he's living paycheck to paycheck. More and more people are in that boat. Well, they can't save the money to put 20% down on, and they can't sell their house to get their 20% down. So people are stuck. The market's stuck, which means people aren't buying their new refrigerator and their new freezer to go into their house so that stagnates the entire, it leads to a recessionary market, which we've been in. We've been in recession for the last 4 or 5 years. It's just the artificial spending on the data centers is making it look like that we have positive GDP when we really don't. Something major is changing Walmart. The pricing, it's happening. Nobody can deny how broke everybody is getting right. Nobody can deny. So many people. Are you looking into their eyes? I must every now and then look at the Epic Economist, look at the Homestead Journey lady. This lady right here. I saw these guys yesterday. She has 3 kids. She's going, how in the world are people making it? Me and my husband have this and this and this, and we're doing this, and it just doesn't add up anymore. And the real problem is we're just getting started. Hyperinflation is going to affect more. It's already hyperinflation. It's already happening. and it's going to affect a higher percentage of the population with every passing day. Pyramid is crumbling from the bottom, and it's coming for all of us. Nobody can deny how broke everybody is. Yeah, people are losing their minds in public. This is going to get worse and worse and worse. The new normal is going to be people just freaking out and losing it. Road rage, that's becoming the new normal. People are going to be becoming desensitized to what's happening. So how many people have you noticed the number of people that are living in the Walmart parking lot that you're or the grocery store, period, or the rest areas? More and more people, they're trying to hide in plain sight. The real number of people living in their cars is more than 1 million here in the United States. They say it's 900,000 and increasing, but that's the number that they can see. That's the number of people that they can count. The number is much higher. People with jobs that are finding a way to make it with a gym membership and living in their car. They're trying to hide in plain sight as much as possible. At some point, that crumbling of the socioeconomic ladder, the pyramid from bottom, goes up and up and up until a higher percentage of the population is struggling and suffering and getting to the end of their rope, and they just can't do it anymore. They get to the end of the rope and they lose it. Scavenging after it's peanut butter hit the fan. People are living by scavenging right now. They're pulling copper out of buildings and doing all kinds of crazy things just to try to survive. Helping the elderly people. Golly, I'm feeling like this more and more and more. It's over. Pandemic is over, and they got away with it. The pandemic is not over yet, and yes, they're getting away with it. Everybody's in on it. You notice how lockstep everybody was to lock everything down globally. Everybody was in lockstep with it, working together like a symphony and a chorus happening all around us. They're not done. The contact tracing infrastructure is in place right now. The detention centers, they're in place right now. Round 2 is coming. Pandemic 2, it's coming. Lockdowns to the point that people are going to lock themselves down because they're fearful of going to Wally World. Communists set fire to landmark on the Brooklyn Bridge. More and more people losing it. That's going to be coordinated sabotage, as Captain Kirk used to say. Sabotage. Haven't been this far. My links this morning. Warning, prepare now for Super El Nino heat. It's coming. He's like Michael Snyder. Took a little grief for Michael Snyder. I like him. Nobody's perfect. Hardly anybody sees the Black Star. Hardly anybody sees Super Plume. If that was my requirement, I wouldn't be able to quote anybody to you. Almost nobody sees it. Most people think we're near the end of the age. Almost everybody does, and everybody's wrong. But Michael Snyder has his finger on the pulse. He's reporting on the Super El Nino, just like Travis. That's playing a major role in what's going on with our food crisis. Michael Snyder's reporting on it. Not perfect, but my goal is to find somebody that is close enough that I can share with you so I can send you some links to go get more information, help you to wake up. I do not have it in me to write a post on all these different topics every day. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. That's the best I can do for right now. Oh, I forgot to mention, some of my time spent over the weekend had to be done over the medical project. We may be on the precipice of making some advances, and even as we are, the details have to remain behind closed doors for now. I'll just tell you, give you a thumbs up and say we're making progress or we're not. At some point, then we'll be able to, Dr. Deborah is part of it, and Leo's part of it, and other people are coming online and be, into the project, being brought in. NDAs have to be signed, and there's a process you have to go through. It takes some time. And I really don't have it in me to do that. I'm struggling. A part of the reason that that project is happening is because I really here recently felt my mortality. Felt like I could die from what's happening. I'm feeling that way right now. My body is releasing so many toxins. It just is. And I had going through a few nights here recently, sweating attacks, and feeling just horrible, and feeling my mortality. And there, the Mystery Explained project, people just don't see it. The pressure sheet technology, vapor plasma integrated engines, of those two, then the highest likelihood is that the Press Medical Corporation pressure sheath technology stuff. People are going to see it because of the need. The closing of the hospitals. The hospital closings are happening. People, they're having emergency room. They have to get to emergency room, and they're 2 hours away because the local hospital is closed. That's happening more and more and more. The distance that people are having to go in emergency situations, carried by ambulance, is increasing. What if there was a remote control surgery way for your examination and your procedure to be done by remote control? That would solve that. That's a solution. The need for it has grown today, along with the technology to support it, to a point where I think we're past the tipping point where more the doctors are going to be going, hey, look at this. This is how we should have been doing all along. So that reason and other reasons are leading me to believe that maybe we're ready. And Leo is a gifted AI illustrator, and I'm just amazed at his abilities. And maybe that is going to help bring uh, presentations and things to the right people so that they can see it. That I could never do. The things that Leo does with his AI and illustrating and developing commentary, and it's just I can't keep up with it. And I invented the technology, in the 1990s. Even I'm way ahead. Okay, my apologies. I was probably going on about something that I didn't need to be talking about. And the invention, and I'm way ahead. But what Leo's doing, really amazing work. And then now that was Joseph, and longtime supporter, and having some difficulties. I'm having some difficulties, and chances are you're having some difficulties, more than average. And some of us are some like entering the dark tunnel. It's the way that I felt. Trying to, I was hoping I'd be starting coming out of it, going on Nikki's treatments, and it just seems like it's getting worse. And Joseph in his situation, without saying much, then he need some support and to hear a few things. And chances are, minute that you guys are like that too. And the bottom line is, we haven't seen anything yet. Things are going to get way worse. We're going to be in our darkest hour. We're not at the end of the age. We're coming to the end of this dispensation of God's grace on this planet, this mystery time that contains this household that we're in, is unseen by the Old Testament prophets. We're coming to the end, and there are many mystery revelations that are being made. The members of the Antichrist body are in the world right now, trying to kill us, and doing a good job of it, I must say. So, warning people. So, just saying, you're not if you're going through that, you're not alone. It's happening to me. It's happening to a lot of people. But if the Lord God's going to stand us up in front of His mighty angels and all of our brethren and reward us with great rewards, big crown, big scepter of power, great adornment, and He's going to let us go anywhere in the kingdom, because those of us on the bottom rungs of the body of Christ, like a giant pyramid, those of us on the very bottom, you're not going to have free access to go anywhere where you want. Where you can go is going to depend on the chests the stones that are in your chest plate. And they have to match the stone on the side of the door. There's walls and doors everywhere. Some of us, that have great access, lots of stones, and the stones are of specific colors, gold and red, more than the greens of the earth tones. You don't want the earth tones. The wood, hay, and straw, the smoke in your garment, you don't want that. So if you are among the few, most of the members of Christ's body that are here right now, they're the rough cut bottom stones. They just can't see God's wisdom. They're not going to be able to see it for maybe some ages to come. But the few of us that are here, like Joseph, you're ahead than average. You're more than average. Gary, more than average. Your plight is going to be your road that you're going down right now. My road is going to, it's more than the average bear and park ranger that's out there right now. So if you're really suffering from it, physical infirmities, spiritual infirmities, financial tragedies, people in your family, then there's a reason for it. So tie a knot at the end of your rope and hold on. We don't have to do this very much longer, but the days are going to get darker and darker and darker for us. The United States, Western Europe, we have big trouble coming. Big, big, big trouble. So that's why I'm telling you, get ready for it. Get prepared as best you can. Prepare now. Warning. Travis is issuing warnings. Sun's been angry this week. Be ready. More signs economic bubble's about to pop. So get yourself ready. Just like Travis says, prepare physically, spiritually. Stay vigilant now. Situation awareness. Extremely important. How many times I've mentioned to you situation awareness. Even just going to the grocery store, head up, scanning your environment. Those that are awake and scanning your environment, Mad Max is a pathetic coward. He's going to pick on the weakest, like a lion out there, looking for the weakest that he can possibly get. So if you're scanning your environment, you have situation awareness. When your eyes meet theirs, they're going to they're going to try to victimize somebody that doesn't even see them. Summer road trip prepping must-haves. I'm not going on any trips. I went to the grocery store today. Can't believe. Yeah, a bag of chips is now $7.25. That's in Alabama. The things that the Keystone meats and things that you've bought up in the past, check the prices now. Prepare for a forever war. The global bankster cartel, they're not going to stop. Talk about peace deals and all. There's not going to be any peace deal. They're going to talk about peace a lot, but they're not going to be any peace deal. So the global banksters are taking down the system, and they're not going to stop. You say, well, it's Israel. It's a raised lobby. No, it's not. Israel's being used as a puppet just like the United States. The puppeteers, the banksters, those are the ones that are trying to kill us. Why most punch blocks fail. He's been talking about the blocking lately. The right way and wrong way of doing things. Master Wong, spent some time with him. He doesn't have almost 3 million subscribers for nothing. Grid collapse, blackout, breaking, blackout alert, power grid collapse. It's going to get worse. We're just getting started. Global emergency. It's part of the survival strategy around here has been to learn to live on the power grid, the off-grid power. Create a power situation that we can manage to be able to make it year-round. Still, I need to upgrade the system. I've got the component parts here to do it. I need to be able to get out there and actually do it. So far, so good. The more sun we have, the hotter temperatures, the more daylight we have, and so far we've been able to hover around 75%, stay between 75, 85% on the power. So far, whenever the cloudy day comes, then and it stays hot, that's when we start having to tweak things, go back on the grid. So far we've been able to, since the spring and now moving into the summer, we've been able to coincide. The timing has been so that whenever I go out there and check it and we're at 50%, then I want to go off the grid. I don't want all of a sudden the main grid, power grid, to go down and we only have 50% power. It's like to keep it 75 or more. It's pretty much the same thing with the diesel in my tank. I don't let it get below 75%. You really don't want it to go below 75%, 3/4 of a tank of diesel or gas in your car, because then you get a high volume of air that holds the moisture that begins working on your system. You get the dripping, condensation, the dripping down, you get the water in your gas and your fuel. That's why you need to ever so often add your additives that dries that up. Otherwise, your system is rust. The system is turning into rust on the inside. So 3/4 full is my rule. Then fill up again. How to set up and run your atmospheric water generator. This is on the top of the links for you. Natural painkiller map for every state. Indiana Jones real life survival belt. I shared that with you last week. And that's it for this Monday. I'm looking at 9 minutes and 10 seconds. I guess this ran almost 2 hours. And so please be patient with me. You're going to get a short Tuesday report tomorrow, a full report. I have to decide between now and then. What I'm wanting to do is go back to shorter Wednesdays and shorter Thursdays and make it 2 days. But so far, I've needed my Thursday that I used to use for prepping. Absolutely cannot get out there and do any prepping in the heat. But I'm having to spend that on catching up on other things and the medical project that's going. So we'll see how it goes. Eventually, I want to go back to 4 days a week instead of that long Wednesday day has been too much here lately. So we'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear. Make sure you take advantage of the Nano Silver, the special that's running. The cutoff. The next time you can order your Nano Silver after Friday is going to be on the 17th. So have your orders in by 8 a.m. Central Time on Friday. Then you'll be starting receiving your deliveries on Monday of next week. Then one of you wrote to me last week. Your order, it took almost a week to get there, and for no good reason. Just the thing, and it's not Christmas season or anything like that. The thing to realize is the societal support mechanisms are being tested, like the rest of us are being tested. The supply chains are being tested. Everything's trying to collapse. At some point, we're not going to be able to use the SBS priority mail anymore. Take advantage of it and stock up if you have the resources while you can. And that's it. Appreciate your support again. Get more information right at terra03.com. I'll see you on the next Black Star Update report.